Hello everybody and welcome to Nature Finds. If you're anything like me, you'll have a little bit of compulsion as you're walking along the path and you spot a particularly nice looking fir cone or maybe an attractive feather, and before you know it, you've picked it up, it's in your pocket or it's in your rucksack and it's on its way home to be added to your collection and hopefully to be drawn in your nature journal. There's just something about these wonderful little objects that we just cannot resist, or certainly I can't. I'm sure a few of you are the same. So when you get home, you probably have a way of storing your finds, maybe on a shelf or in a box. I've got a basket in which I keep all my little goodies, which change throughout the year, because if I have nuts or seeds or cones or berries, then what I tend to do when I've used them is to put them back into the garden or back into nature where I found them, so the seeds can disperse and replenish. But things like shells and wood and those kind of things I've kept for many years. My most treasured find is probably this one, which is the antler from a roe deer, which I absolutely love. It's a real treasured possession, and I've drawn it so many times over the years. So something like this can be, a really wonderful find. So you can just, of course, draw and put these images into your nature journal. But what I want to suggest today is maybe thinking a little bit further and thinking of different ways that you can actually approach your nature finds. So what I've done is come up with a few ideas, and I'm going to start off by showing you a few of my feathers from my feather collection. So I've drawn those in my journal here, and what I've done instead of just drawing them though, I took a selection and I started to go and research and find out a little bit more about feathers, which I didn't know before. That was really interesting, looking at where's the feather come from on the bird, what type of feather is that, why does it go there, and then taking it a stage further, if you have a hand lens or a magnifying glass, you can go even deeper and get up close and personal with your finds and actually go in and draw little sections of your find. And I've done that here in the top corner with the feather here, and there's a little sort of diagram as well. It's kind of made my page more scientific than I would normally do, because I'm usually all about the stories and the pictures, so it was a really interesting thing to do. So I highly recommend this. Because I enjoyed it so much, I got some of my collection of lichen covered twigs, which I have rather a lot of because I'm a little bit obsessed with lichen. I did the same thing there, and then I got my hand lens out and just went deeper and did some little studies of the tiny little areas of lichen that attracted me, and that again was a really interesting thing to do. So I highly recommend drawing a collection and then going down and honing in and focusing deeper. Something else that you can do, which is fun, is to do a themed page. So if I turn over the page, you'll see here that I've got a large shell, and inside that I've drawn a collection of some of my smaller shells that I've collected over the years, and added a bit of driftwood for interest, and I extracted a little bit of that using my hand lens and looked at all the nooks and crannies and marks and possibly nibbles that were made before the seed did its work on that piece of driftwood. So it just made it a little bit more interesting, and it started me asking questions about the things that I'd actually taken for granted in these finds before. Finally, I've got quite a collection of pebbles and minerals and rocks that I've collected over the years, so I took a selection of those and again researched a little bit further, put them on the page, and actually found out a lot of interesting information that I didn't know before. And it's opened my eyes to quite a few things, and it'll be leading on to more journal pages, I think, in the future. So that's something you can do. Something else that we all love, I think, is leaves, and usually autumn leaves are the thing that we draw, but I decided for this event today what I'd do is go around my garden and just pick up fallen green leaves, as it's late spring coming into summer here at the moment. And what I did was to do something a little bit different again. I did a sort of page of leaves, and this time I practiced my fancy writing, because I'm a very plain and simple person normally, and I love all these wonderful laid out pages that people do. So I thought this would be a fun thing to do, so that I could actually have a go at doing something a little bit different, and had a slightly different collection. I'll let all the leaves dry. In the winter time, twigs are great. So there's a couple of pages of my winter twigs, which again is done in a slightly different format. What I just really want you to do is to maybe just think just that little bit further. Just try something different and fun, because like me, you may find out that that's given you a new insight and an interesting new way of looking at things. And that's what our journaling is all about. It's challenging ourselves as well as just staying with the tried and tested, and I'm very bad at that, so it's nice to break out and do something new. So I hope that's given you a few ideas of what you might like to do with your nature finds. They're such an accessible thing as well, because if you are not able to get out for any reason at all, you can always ask people if they might pick things up or bring them to you. You can have a look around your garden or your yard, and it's surprising what you will find and what stories those finds have to tell. Just a little word about health and safety, because I know that some countries have particular laws regarding picking up things like abandoned birds' nests or feathers or eggshells. So please do check the legislation in your country, because we don't want anybody to get into trouble. Here in Britain, it's fairly easy for me to pick up anything and bring it home, but that may not be the case wherever you are in the world. But I'm sure wherever you are, there's a wealth of finds out there that are just waiting for you and are excited to be drawn and put into your nature journal. So have a wonderful day today and a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy your nature journaling, and I can't wait to see what everybody draws today. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.